Hi viewers, welcome to ITV's special interview session. Shortly after the break, we will be bringing our special guests to sit. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome back to the ITV, your favorite online TV platform where we get you covered on news broadcast, advertisement, public announcements, documentaries, media jingles, and lots more. You can reach us by dialing 0813456 0034 or 08022142300. Visit our Facebook page ITV and subscribe to our YouTube channels ITV. This is ITV, your updated eye. Welcome back from that little short break. Distinguished viewers, of course today we are having on the seats a member of the Federal Republic of Nigeria National Assembly, Senate's Red Chambers precisely, who will be taking us on, of course, some interactions on national and state issues. He is no other person than the most referred former Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State and a senator representing the people of Akwa Ibom Northwest, distinguished Senator Christopher Stephen Ekpenyong. You're very much welcome, distinguished Senator.
Thank you, my dear brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator. Prior to Senator Christopher becoming a politician, prior to Senator Chris becoming who he is today, who was Christopher Ekpenyong?
From birth, I was born in Ikorokan on the 29th day of September 1954. I grew up, I went to primary school in St. Patrick's Primary School 1961 to 1963. 64, I was at primary school, Rumwala, and then I finished up at St. Michael Primary School, Rumomasi in Port Harcourt in 1969. And went ahead to the Government Technical College, Tunbia, where I earned my intermediate City and Guilds of London in electrical installation, course B, and proceeded in 1975-76 to the famous Yaba Technical College, today called Yaba Technical Science College. It used to be the trade school or trade center, where I had advanced City and Guilds in electrical installation, course C. I was still not satisfied. I came and taught at Abak Technical College in 1977 briefly, and got admission into Fura Polytechnic Bida to do electrical engineering national diploma. I completed in 1979. At the instance when I was in that school, I became a public relations officer for the Students' Union 1977-78. By 1979, 78-79, I became president of the Students' Union of Federal Polytechnic Bida. We were only 4 students from the then Cross River State in a population, in a school population of over 1,000. Yet I became a president of the Students' Union. That is Nigeria. Yeah. Good Nigeria. Good Nigeria. And then in 1979-80, I became a national vice president of Nigerian technical students in the whole country. One of the things that I've always not left out about my student political life, I also was elected a president of African students in Ghana.
Interesting.
In 1980 at Accra, when we all converged, all the polytechnics in Africa converged, I was elected. And I led the team in 1980, then crossed over to Calabar Polytechnic for my HND, and finished up in 1982. By 1983, I was a youth corper, like most of you are today, and going to be. But even as a youth corper, I won an election into the then Cross River State House of Assembly, defeating an incumbent with 3 wives, many children, and properties. If that is the measurement of achievement. I became a member representing Third Honorable State Constituency. But it was short-lived, just 3 months. And then I came back and I picked up my certificate and we headed to Lagos. And then I was employed as an electrical engineer by Don in Don, a TBS company known as Data Sciences, Nigeria Limited. I served there and rose to the rank of a sales manager in charge of environment, computer environment, in charge of power, systems, and all other ancillary computers needed in your services. I left that company precisely in August 1989 and founded Guest Limited in 1989, October 4th. And no sooner God opened the door for me. I built houses in Lagos. I stopped being a tenant. Built houses in my village, houses in Ikorodu. And then progressively went up, sponsored so many individuals in these states who wanted to get to power to ensure that they develop the states. And it came to my turn when I had to run alongside among Victoria as his second in command in 1999. I became a deputy governor and ran the race, did my job, showed loyalty, commitment, was awarded, acknowledged as the best deputy governor in Nigeria. It is on record. I have. And had all the chieftaincy titles in these states, across all the state local government areas. And had even the largest, the highest of all, Igbo, that was given to me by the Akwa State Traditional Rulers Council under the auspices of Akwa Ibom in 2001.
Interesting.
So from then, before that I had been in business, and those businesses I just see, thriving to be. Guest Limited has employed so many people, so many people, as of today, they are into metro in Lagos. We are also one of the strong backers of Ikeja discos in the provision of metros. We also provided leaders to Kaduna discos. So we've been doing well, and I've been taking away with people on board. I don't take, I'm so stigmatized because I love to develop the ingenuity of my people. So by today, I am a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, courtesy of God.
Thank you very much. That was a brief, of course, a good profile of who is Senator Christopher Stephen Ekpenyong. To take us further, of course, Distinguished Senator, to the current national assignment that the people of the Ikorodu Ministerial District at Ekpenyong West actually gave to you a few years ago to represent them on the right chambers. And how can you describe the current National Assembly? Is it different from every other National Assembly? And what can you say about your own opinion and reactions to the current National Assembly?
I'm in the ninth National Assembly now. And I have seen men of impeccable character, men of, that shows commitment and love for the nation. And I'm a nationalist. What I see about the ninth National Assembly, it is, I've told you, it is made up of men of impeccable character.
Because there are some descriptions where people say they are rock star.
No, we are not rubber stamps, but people want us to be fighting. You see, we have democracy. In democracy, we have the majority and the minority. Minority will have a say, but the majority will have, the deal.
Yeah.
We have a say on all issues of important issues of national interest. Where we differ, we made our position clear. When it's need for us to synergize and be in peace with the party that is in power, we don't need to fight. We will not show, spirit of nation building. If we go there to say we carry, of course, we can't carry a man into the red chamber. Even when I moved into the red chamber with my walking stick, I dropped it at the entrance. We were just, empty. When you get to into the bowel of the main bowel of the hollow chamber, you will have nothing that you could use to cause havoc. And so the only havoc you can cause is that when people are given the opportunity That is through the president of the Senate, that his eye is able to catch all other 109 or 108 senators. And I've always been lucky that his eyes catches my hands whenever I read it. And if he thinks necessary, I should speak. Because he knows that I will always oppose where there's need to oppose. And I will always agree where there's need to agree. So we are not rubber stamp. We are really showing maturity as should be.
Thank you. On the 25th of March, that was on Thursday precisely, Akwa Mr. High Court sentenced the Union Province of Science, Peter 1, to 2 years in prison for forging and announcing fake results for 2019 Ekpenyong Central District elections in its Mepo Uruguayan local government area by adding 5,000 votes for APC and reducing 5,000 from PDP. What is your reaction to the ruling of the case, and how is it important to history?
I want to commend the INEC commissioner in Akwa Ibom, the REC. How I wish we have such a material as at the apex of the Nigerian electoral processes. Then we would have known that we are moving somewhere in the selection of good material for the governance of the nation. You see, what we are talking about, that we are not making issue is because of the processes of getting the right person for the right job. So my beginning is a sound material. It's a God-given material that was brought to Akwa Ibom so that all the fake living, the fake news, the fake life that we have been, accorded with since 2007 will be unveiled. There's nothing that is hidden before God. So I want to thank him first for, in spite of the fact that I won my election on the ground, and I never knew that my results were stolen because I saw it. On the ground, I knew that I had 8,000 votes in the tribunal. But when the result came out and announced by that professor, how come that my 8,000 votes turned out to be 3,000 and the APC that I defeated in the tribunal turned out to be the winner in the tribunal? It was amazing. And then we go to Uruguayan. Uruguayan, I had about 25,000 votes. How come that my votes now reduced to 20,000? They couldn't reduce the votes of Okanafe, courtesy of. That's why I mourn the demise of Honorable Ekpenyong, because he refused to allow the manipulation. So I really want to commend and thank the REC of Akwa Ibom, by King, for standing firm, for ensuring that what we have been advocating for in the National Assembly, the need for us to have an electoral commission that will try electoral offenses on the spot and give give an answer that is able to take it to the court of competent jurisdiction in the Akwa Ibom State. And I also salute the courage of that judge who never fake, who never distorted facts, who never distorted truth, who allowed the truth to prevail. And he followed up the processes and ensured that the ruling was appropriately meted out to who had infracted the law. So even what I want to say now is that I wish that, and I hope that INEC would now add up those votes to my earlier declared votes to show that I have defeated those in the Bible with a very large margin, a vital margin, because even now I still let him with over 47,000 votes. So if we add the vote that was stolen, courtesy of the returning officer for him, for the APC, so you will see that I will still be leading him with a very, very large margin of votes in 2019 election. So I want to commend the INEC, I want to commend the judge that, victory belongs to God. It does not belong to man.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the ITV, your favorite online TV platform where we get you covered on news broadcast, advertisement, public announcement, documentaries, media jingles, and lots more.
Alright, welcome back from that very short break. We are still having, if you're just joining us, the senator representing the people of Ekpenyong Northwest, otherwise known as the Ekpenyong District, His Excellency, the distinguished Senator Christopher Stephen Ekpenyong. Distinguished Senator Christopher Ekpenyong, what should the people of the Ekpenyong District now expect going forward at your representation?
I fill up all the appointments that is needed of me. In my office, I think I'm the only legislator and senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that was very conscious and mindful of where I come from. To an extent that I have to employ a senior legislative aide from Central District, otherwise known as Ekpenyong Northwest. The legislative officer one is from the same Central District. Of course, the SLA is from the Synod, covering Ekpenyong, Ogbolokara, and the Synod, and the legislative officer too is from Oluwana Mukanafo, and is from Mukanafo, but I say for Iboko. He is covering Mukanafo and Oluwana. Dr. Michael Baldwin is from Ini. He's covering Anikoro. And then the Abak Fura constituency of Abak Tinubu Enika. I have people on my payrolls that covers that. I have one sort from Ika that is I'm paying in every month from the day one till today. I'm going to be 2 years old on the 11th of June. I have been paying, including you. So I have well over 150 of you on my payroll. And how much am I earning? My salary in the month does not exceed, 500,000 naira. I ensure that what is good for the good is good for the bad. I want to see a leverage in the lives of my people. And outside that, in terms of of a physical development, I've touched that. In March, I gave out March last year, not this year. I gave out 100,000 naira per person in each ward. I have 108 wards. So I gave out 100,000 naira for them to go and develop poultry or get involved in any of the agri activities. I did not end there. I had a second empowerment. I gave 53,000 naira to another about 200 people. I did not end there. I gave out another 30,000 naira to people, one per local government. I'm sure you were there covering. It did not end there in December. I gave out 22 kekenapep, each of them cost 950,000. Each kekenapep. And I got 2 people per local government that were beneficiaries. They were not chosen by me. They were chosen by the leaders of each of the local government. Leaders. I said, give me 2 people to earn kekenapep. Give me 10 people to earn sewing machines. Yesterday when I was even at a burial ground, people came to greet me. Young girls came to greet me. I never knew them. They said, we were beneficiaries of Nigeria. We got the machines, we got the 20,000 naira, starting pack. So I have done that. And currently, I am doing a 1.4 kilometer road at Ogbolokara in Ekpe. The erosion-prone area of Ekpe. I'm doing it. Using that is what we call zonal, project. I'm doing the same thing 500 meter at Abak, because it's going there is a back, I'm doing 2 skill acquisition center, one at Ika and one at Ini, near Bango Welfare. I visited the whole site. You were with me a few days ago. As soon as on my arrival, I went through all those projects. In my own village, the sexuality begins at home. I have at least put in about over 50 stands of solar solar light. So if you go from the boundary of Ndoisu to the boundary of Ikorokana, going to Nkap, you see the whole place is lit up with solar light every night. So, I mean, that is an achievement that I've recorded within even a span of time. If I had spent probably, say 2 terms, you have known what I would have thought. So, but this is even less than a term. Less than a tenure. So, give me the opportunity to finish up my tenure. Yeah? By the time I finish up my tenure, then we would have seen the differences between I and those who went before me. I never said that they did not do their bit. They did their bit. I'm also doing my bit. But at the end of the day, you put us on a scale of balance and weigh who has given adequate representation to the people.
Between 1.5 years' time at the National Assembly, and we are still expecting much representation from him.
Yeah, I can make additions. Employment in this state alone, I influenced the employment of over 8 doctors from my central district into the state civil service. I also influenced the appointment of a young man from Ekpenyong into Navy as a sub-lieutenant. So, I want people to show the record they did at the end of the day. People were there, even up to a minority leader, they should show you who and who they employ. I'm doing my bit. At the end of the day, we will know who went and gave service to the people.
Thank you very much. Let's come back a bit from the Civil Senator. What can you say about the completion agenda of His Excellency, Mr. Dr. Ekpenyong, the Governor of Ekpenyong State?
Unless somebody is blind, he has not seen what Udoma has done. Governor Udoma is just like me. We are not too good, no, we are not too friendly with the media. It's just like you have cornered me today to talk. I wouldn't like to talk. I would have loved to. At the end of the day, you see things with your eyes. But for me, before I even became a senator, I commended him and got enamored to him, his activities, that he was not a noisemaker. The only regret I have is that why is it that he is coming at the time the resources of the state is lean? It's one of the people say, oh, Ekpenyong is the highest producer of petroleum, of crude oil. And this is how much they collect it. But they fail to note that there have been a lot of debt left by the previous government for Governor Udom. Probably justiciable debt that he has to meet and pay. But when you talk about it in terms of performance, were you not promised one industry Pelugu government at the time that this state was earning 50 billion naira a month? Did you see it? And so now if you go down to most of the areas, you see what Governor Udoma has done in terms of physical development, in terms of industries. Before I became senator, I saw the metering industry with my eyes. I came when he commissioned the King's Flower industry. I joined and watched when he was commissioning the what do you call the wood company. At least I saw those companies and they are working. Let me tell you, a few days ago I went to NNPC and trying to find out what happened, and with the gas initiative that their previous government told you, all of you here, that is building at Ibadan. To a point that I had to go to, because I'm a member of the downstream committee of the Senate. Downstream means petroleum downstream. And so I had the right to do finance, to see if those industries are working, and if they are not working, what is the problem? How do we mitigate so they can work and provide working initiative to all the teeming youths? I got to know that it was just one of those, would I say 419? It's not at all working. And yes, you who were using the press, were singing praises of somebody who is not a performer. And you gave an acronym on uncommon. Oh, uncommon I be looting. Huh? So for me, their completion agenda is on course and he's doing well. He's doing well. Look at the road. The other day I came into this today. I said, what is happening? At the airport road. He's opening up. There's a mighty shop, a shopping mall in an area that you're going to be watching only cinema. But it's only those who are, people that are eating well that can go to watch cinema. It's not people where you have been christened as the poorest of the poor states. Are you not aware? That the level of poverty in Akwa Ibom is of a higher magnitude than other areas. It's not the fault of Udom. If somebody who came before Udom had acted consciously, Udom would now have inherited a workforce and an economy that will sustain the better living of the people. But be as it may, he's doing his utmost best to ensure that we are out of that mood and that acronym of being the poorest of the poor states in Nigeria when we are very rich.
All right. Still back home, of recent, the Akwa Ibom State government has banned keke riders and motorcyclists at Ikot from the hours of 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. This is due to high rates of insecurity at the place. What is your reactions to this? Because some persons, of course, are giving their opinion that it's affecting businesses and all of that.
The governor is the chief executive. With the adverse conditions, insecurity in the whole nation, as you are aware, we are lucky that he is proactive, not allowing what is happening in other states of Kaduna, Niger, Taraba, Zamfara, happen here. So I commend him. If he bans, I have been told of the wanton destruction of life and property, killing of security officers at the Synodo. That is uncalled for. That is condemnable. So, as the chief security officer of the state, it behoves on him to, because he holds the barometer to know, should I suspend this activity to ensure peace, or should I allow this activity to go on and allow insecurity to thrive? So I can never accuse him of misgovernance. He's governing well. So I stand by him until our people purge themselves of bad character and bad relationship. Remember that the former president of Nigeria says that yes, because all of us are advocating for the restructuring of the country. He said before we restructure, we talk about physical restructuring. We should talk about the restructuring of the mind. And he's right. In our time, we never heard of this, wanton destruction of life and property. People used to have genuine agitations, but it was always very peaceful. They marshal out their points, and government look into it. But today, people take up arms against people, kill abnormally. So I am in support of that banning.
We'll be back again as the Session Senator will get to handle one or two issues before we bring it to an end. Stick around and invite your friends to keep watching ITV.
Welcome back to the ITV, your favorite online TV platform where we get you covered on news broadcast, advertisement, public announcements, documentaries, media jingles, and lots more.
Welcome back from that short break. Of course, if you're just joining us, we're having the senator representing the people of Ekpenyong District, Distinguished Senator Ekpenyong, on seats on a special interview session. Distinguished Senator, lastly, before we go on quickly, what can you say about the politics of 2023? Because political actors have started making opinions and comments on the issues of zoning. Because we are aware that you're a good political historian, what can you say about the politics of 2023 and that zoning of the People's Democratic Party?
As far as I'm concerned, we founded the People's Democratic Party based on equity, fairness, and justice. And of course, on the fact that we were going to give Nigeria best government of the people, strict democracy for the people and by the people, ensuring that work etiquette was actually properly defined for the people of Nigeria. And as a senator representing Ekpenyong Northwest, otherwise known as Ekpenyong, I am a very strong player. That has not been discussed, has not been brought to the public, but then the party has set up a committee to look into, to bring out as to why we failed to catch, to be elected to control the power, the political power at the center in 2019, which is obvious. And then look at what we should do if we're to bounce back. And so I think that committee have submitted their report. Their report will be made available for serious discussions. Just like you setting up a committee, when you finish up the committee, presentation is made. When you collect the presentation, you set up a committee to look at it. When they finish it, they set up another committee to bring out the white paper, which will bring out the template. So what they have done, we've not gone to that level of deciding who should or where should the presidential candidate comes from. That has not been discussed about. But when it comes to that, I think we all have a say, because I am also one of the serious co-founders and I'm an investor in this party.
So are PDP coming back very stronger?
Yes, I'm an investor in this party. I invested my little life saving in 1998, 1999. So people who have, I know that it is not those who plan the yam today, it's tomorrow. Abi? Probably we will leave it for the generations unborn. Those who won the independence for Nigeria are not here today. Probably their children are not even here within the political horizon. So I won't regret, but what I can assure is that we will work as seriously to make sure that PDP come on board, because the other party has already not performed as they thought of. In terms of insecurity, you could see, they said they were going to be eating up the past in 6 months. This is 6 years. In terms of economy, I was thinking that because I was very young, much younger, I was a staff of the sciences when Buhari took over power, and dollar was near 1 to 1, naira to 1 naira to $1. So I was thinking that it was going to bring that magic. And then he instituted what they call, there was something he brought, war against indiscipline, where even it was difficult for a child to steal or for you to cheat in the examination hall. But nowadays, indiscipline, insecurity is the bane of the country. So I think PDP has the capacity to reinvent Nigeria.
Thanks. The senator on the People's Democratic Party is at first, and of course to bring to your awareness that the People's Democratic Party has set up a committee to look at the zoning of the 2023 presidential, of course, elections. Thank you very much. What is your last message to the people of Akwa Ibom State and the people of Ekpenyong Central District?
First and foremost, I want to thank the people of Ekpenyong Central District, Akwa Ibom Northwest, for graciously giving me the opportunity to serve them in the Halo Chamber. At the time, I never thought of. I had thought that I had ended my political career as a deputy governor, which I served for 6 years, 1 month and 5 days, which ended on the 4th day of July, 2005. I thought that was over. And I retired to my business as a farmer and as an engineer. That's my first love. But suffice it that they gave me this opportunity to serve them in the Halo Chamber. I will never be a disappointment. I'll do my ample best to show them what representation is all about in such capacity. And then for the entire Akwa Ibom people who prayed for me, I still ask them to pray for me to make sure that I'm a success. I cannot reward them. God is only the person that rewards people. Those who became a ladder for me to grow, to step into this arena, God will reward them and reward their children.
Thank you very much, guys. That has been a very wonderful and interesting conversation with the senator representing the people of Ekpenyong Central District, Distinguished Senator Christopher Stephen Ekpenyong, whom of course is the chairman and the vice chairman of the committee and member of the several other committees of the National Assembly, bearing his mind on national and state issues. Thank you very much for joining us for these interview sessions. We look forward to your other viewing. Thank you very much. I am Edgar Michael.